A crow's life begins as an immediate physical struggle for space. Inside the nest, you are born into a high-stakes competition where your siblings are constantly pushing, climbing, and screaming for the same limited resources. To survive this, parents often need reinforcements. They rely on helpers, unpaid interns of the bird world who assist in the hunt when there are simply too many beaks to feed for two adults to handle alone. This line graph shows the exponential rise in a chick's caloric needs compared to the maximum foraging capacity of two parents. This gap illustrates the biological deficit that makes helper crows a necessity for the brood's survival. Surviving this stage isn't about luck, it's a brute force mathematical equation. You either outsquawk your siblings for that fuel, or you don't grow. At 1 month old, the nest becomes a ledge. Gravity is now your first lethal external threat, and the ground below is a long drop that offers no second chances. This diagram shows why that first jump is so dangerous. A juvenile's wing shape provides insufficient lift to counteract its weight. Without the developed feathers and muscle of an adult, your first attempt at flight is essentially a controlled plummet. Landing is even harder. Lacking the intuition to slow down, you'll likely slam into branches sideways or belly flop into the dirt, leaving you nursing bruised pride and questionable aerodynamics. You have to master this quickly. Being stuck on the ground makes you a target for hawks, turning flight from a milestone into a desperate race for safety. While other animals rely on instinct, crows must navigate a steep learning curve. You spend your early days watching the adults, downloading the strategies they use to navigate the world. You copy the way they flip over leaves to find insects or drop nuts from high branches to crack them open. These aren't inherited traits. They are learned behaviors you must mimic to secure enough calories. Then there are the humans. Some provide scraps, while others swing brooms. To survive, you have to categorize every person you encounter as either a resource or a threat. This neural mapping graphic shows how a crow's brain locks onto specific facial proportions. By storing these measurements as a permanent threat signature, you can recognize a single enemy years after a negative interaction. This grudge is highly efficient. By remembering exactly who tried to hurt you, you can avoid dangerous areas or harass that individual until they leave, preventing future injury. In an urban environment, your memory is as vital as your wings. You survive by building a lifelong database of psychological profiles. Eventually, you begin foraging alone. But independence comes with a high cost. Without the group's eyes, you are vulnerable to any predator quiet enough to sneak up on you. A fox can emerge from the brush in a split second. Without a sentinel to warn you, a routine meal turns into a lethal ambush before you even have a chance to flap your wings. You let out a sharp alarm call. That specific acoustic trigger alerts every crow in the area, mobilizing a decentralized response from the local murder. This tactical view shows the mechanics of mobbing. Crows use their numbers to create multiple vectors of attack, dive-bombing the predator from every angle until it is overwhelmed and forced to retreat. This collective behavior functions as a security network. It allows a group of smaller birds to dominate much larger predators through coordinated persistence. By the time spring rolls around, you're ready to mate. You establish trust through aerial acrobatics, some mutual grooming, and sharing food to prove you can provide. Together, you build a nest on the highest branch available. It has to be sturdy enough to withstand the wind and high enough to keep climbing predators at bay. When the chicks hatch, the roles reverse. You are now the exhausted provider, spending every waking hour hunting for insects and scraps to fuel a new generation of demanding mouths. Reaching the peak of adulthood simply means re-entering the same high-stress resource struggle that defined your own youth. You are now at the top of your game, smart, experienced, and confident in your ability to navigate the neighborhood. But in the wild, confidence doesn't stop an apex predator. A hawk strikes from a blind spot, and in a single second, you are gone. A human walking by sees your body and stops. They might lean down to look or gently move you to the side, unaware that the murder is watching from the canopy. Crows don't investigate the cause of death. They simply see a dead crow and a standing human, and their brains forge an instant association between that person and the danger. To the group, That human is now the killer. You are no longer there to see it, but the murder will harass that specific person for years based on that one misinterpreted moment. Your life was brief, but your group's memory ensures the human pays the price every time they step outside.